Hi, it's Andy again, and we come this week continuing our Route 66, discovering God and His glory upon our journey. And this week we're in First Chronicles, and we're going to be looking at the life of David. David was a king who is beloved by Israel. He was a great king in many ways, and yet we know that he had his faults. One of the faults that probably many people think of is Bathsheba, but there was another episode of him taking a census that cost 70,000 people their lives. And that's the one we're going to focus on this week because God's glory shows up in a real way, in a very real way. It shows up in a sense that by David's lack of obedience, it cost people. And David had to pay a price. The prophet Gad came to see David and gave him a few options on what kind of price would be paid. And David makes a statement that says, "Let me fall into the hands of God," because he is merciful, as opposed to into the hands of man. And that's something that we should all hold true. But then later, even as the destruction and the pestilence happens and the plague comes and the people are dying, there is still a price to be paid. And David has another option. He is offered a place to sacrifice before the Lord for free. But instead he pays 600 shekels. Now, what's a shekel? Well, a shekel is about 2/5 of an ounce. And specifically, this is gold. So it was about 240 ounces of gold. In your and I's day, that's $385,000 approximately at current gold prices. He paid that just to be able to sacrifice. But God honored it. Are we willing to pay the price? When God asks us to do something, are we willing to pay, or do we just say, well, that's not convenient? Especially when it was offered for free. Was David being a good steward? Would God have accepted his sacrifice if he had not paid the full price? Well, thankfully, we also have a Savior who has paid our price, our full price of debt. And that's going to be our look this week at 1 Chronicles 21. And as we move into a time of remembering the Lord's Supper and how Jesus is the one who ultimately paid that price for you and I. I look forward to seeing you then.